Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back on iKeysRacing. I have become also an avatar, so at least we can have also my silly face looking at a racetrack and maybe taking advantage of this, or maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, welcome back in Monza. Well, welcome back in Long Beach this time. What are we going and doing here? Or maybe you have seen a bit of a glimpse of what I'm trying to build, maybe to make be hated at the end. Again, sports car. Yes, I love them. I've been in Daytona for the Rolex 24 hours. It has been an incredible experience, thanks to IMSA, thanks to all the drivers, all the technicians, all the mechanics, all available to have a chat with me or to write down an autograph for my old memories where I will tell these stories to my nephew. But mainly I want to say welcome back to you all, and hopefully we will have a new generation of episodes on iKeysRacing. Marco is the guilty part of this channel, but really I did want to bring you inside a bit of history, a bit of stories, and we are here in Long Beach to start the first race of this crazy season that is like the IMSA calendar, more or less. We will take all the important or historic races for IMSA, but they will be raced with a mix of cars that will be, I think, very exciting. So who wants to see what happened after the B.P.R class that has become the FIA GT Championship Cup? Me. I want to see what happened. Who wants to know what happened after the demise of the Group C and the IMSA Championship between 92-93 and the lack of a proper prototype type of cars between 94, 95, 96, 97 maybe, but thanks to the purpose-built cars like barchettas or WorldSportCars type, we had anyway a proper championship back at the end of the 90s. And also there were some crazy things between GT categories. We had the arrival of the fake GT cars from Mercedes and Porsche. As usual, sometimes those teams like to play with rules, like we have seen in Formula 1 and not only. And then what? Well, there was also the arrival of Toyota, for example, but I don't want to say too much in this welcoming situation of what has been a period of changes for WorldSportCars, but I did want to mix up and bring on this channel everything about that period, thanks to, again, Power and Glory, that is more open also to accept cars from others' conversions. And so let's go on track to see a glimpse of them, because here at Long Beach we are going to have some fierce battles. I think that with 50 cars running on this track will be quite exciting to have a proper challenge, and especially with these particular types of cars it will be nice to see also with a rainy day maybe some decent monster. I will present you the cars in a couple of minutes. You can see the Lister, we can see the Porsche, the 911, we have some Reynards, Chrysler Vipers. I mean, we have a lot of beautiful and exotic cars battling today. So I think we can start with the GT car. Okay, we can take maybe the Dodge Viper RT10 from the year 94, that participated with René Arnoux in the 24 hours of Le Mans. Nice touch with the Ferrari 333 SP. Main straight, and let's see how it performs. Obviously with a rainy day will be less performing in a single lap compared to the dry condition, obviously. This is what can happen here in Long Beach. Maybe we can have a glimpse of the... Wow! Beautifully reproduced also the internal side of the car. Maybe the AI will get crazy. Beautiful. I was waiting the return on track with cutting the race line to someone else. He will not go to the pit, but we can have a glimpse of how well made this incredible mod has been done. Anyway, you had a sort of example for what is a lap that from the B.P.R years 94, 95, 96 basically allowed not anymore just sports car road versions purchasable in a saloon, for example, and transformed into what was a race car, but the Germans did vice versa. So they produced prototypes dressed like a more or less credible road car, homologated few numbers of models, and then went to race with cars just showing externally what was the shape of possibly a road model, the same manufacturer, but basically they were purpose-built prototypes dressed like road cars. I don't like this attitude back then from Porsche and Mercedes. Toyota then followed to be competitive with the GT1 model, but was not really a very fair and sportive attitude, in my opinion, that completely destroyed the original example of B.P.R aim to possibly have cars purchasable on a normal car dealer and then used to race once decently prepared. But anyway, the mix of today will be really almost incredible. You will find GT2 cars, GT1 cars, purpose-built for Le Mans, Daytona, etc. With a mix of, like this one, the Sard Grand Tourers specific cars, or like the Dodge Viper RT10 year 94, together with barchettas or open cockpit Le Mans prototype cars, like for example the Courage of the Pescarolo Sport racing team, or like the riley&scott that is coming out from the pit lane. That was a World Sports Car category created on purpose to refresh anyway the prototype purpose-built attitude for small manufacturers. Was the case of riley&scott, was the case also of Ferrari, the red one you have seen with the model 333 SP, or the WR that is following, an LMP2 car, the yellow one, etc. So it will be a great mix, expanded, let's say, compared to the first around the world in 24 hours season we have seen on my channel. And it was basically the following, the leftover of the Group C and IMSA prototype breed, if we can say so. Respecting the new set of rules decided by IMSA for the US continent. Back in Europe, we had instead the GT1 purpose-built prototypes car, but named fakely GT1. So then combined together thanks to the American Le Mans series and with the evolution that then did bring the LMP1 Audi, for example. Wow, many crashes here, nice. Then the demise of the GT1 fake cars, like I said, Mercedes, Porsche, Toyota GT1, etc. And then finally the arrival of the modern Daytona prototypes and Le Mans prototypes that, after racing many years with an open cockpit concept, in recent years have become again closed cockpit prototypes. So I think that after a couple of laps with 3 different models, we can now go to car presentation, and then the following chapter will be the car qualifying session. Here we are with the car presentation, where we are going to have the GT1, the GT2, the LMP1, or in general Le Mans prototype category, and the World Sports Car that back in the mid-90s did a sort of bridge between the arrival of Le Mans prototype cars and what was before the usual prototype category. We have to bear in mind that at the end there was just this changing environment between the beginning of the 90s with the demise of the Group C cars. They were basically Formula 1 cars covered, if you like, and at the end I must say thank you Bernie Ecclestone for destroying a beautiful championship that, at least luckily 30 years after, maybe now with the WEC and the IMSA Championship, it is starting to go back to the golden era, maybe the third golden era for sports cars and prototypes and GTs. But anyway, I've tried to combine the best of both worlds, hoping to enjoy them and hoping to entertain you as much as possible with competitive fights on track and a good mix of beautiful cars and exotic cars to be seen on our screens. I'm not here to say that it's the best mix, the best miscellanea of choices, but at least it is something I really did like very much to sooner or later have on my channel, also because I would like to share with you a bit of history, a bit of informations, notions about this category that to me is absolutely beautiful. And now that we are preparing this year 2023 with the start of the IMSA Championship a few days ago in Daytona, and I was there, and a video recap will follow very soon, but also I must say it is a good preparation for the WEC starting in March with the prologue in some way of the 1000 miles of Sebring, the day before of the 12 hours of Sebring, thanks to the IMSA Championship and the IMSA organization. I will be there also, so let's meet there again and I can grab a beer for you, and hopefully it will be another beautiful weekend like the Daytona has been. But let's go into the car selection and then we will see what will come up with the first Long Beach 100 minutes of race, 1 hour and 40 minutes, that maybe race by race, episode by episode, will allow us to have a glimpse of some exotic and beautiful race cars. At this point, old, almost 1/4 of century, 25 years ago, they were the best of the best to be put on a racetrack. So starting with the GT1 category, with this beautiful Frank Muller Lotus Racing team, a tiny car for sure, but equipped to compete with McLarens, Mercedes, Porsches, etc. Talking about still British car and McLaren manufacturer, if you remember the F1 GTR model back in the mid-90s was the car to have, the car to beat for everybody involved into sports car racing, involved into the B.P.R or the FIA GT trophy, if we can call it as it was. So McLaren had an evolution, basically stretching the front nose and the rear end of the car, making this beautiful monster relying more and more on aerodynamic devices and principles. So the car was the one we have seen within the B.P.R back in the days of the mid-90s, so the 3 seasons with the B.P.R, the 94, 95 and 96. Coming the 97, the car has become more and more a prototype, despite not losing the original meaning of this car, that was anyway a road car legally registered for racing use or vice versa. And I would say the Gulf Davidoff sponsorship, maybe it has been one of the most beautiful ever seen on track. This car in particular will see Geoff Lees and Anders Olofsson at the wheel for the Gulf Davidoff racing team. The other choice is the official BMW Motorsports McLaren F1 GTR with JJ Layton and the British Steve Soper at the wheel, same model as seen before. Very beautiful, very powerful, as said, stretched and enlarged to cope with the arrival of some fake prototypes from the German Porsche and Mercedes manufacturer that from the end of the 90s, let's say, registered a fake road car producing the minimum production car, basically like Porsche did. They were prototypes covered as and hidden under an homologation, but they were famous because, as sometimes happens, thanks or due to the FIA operated back then, this car has been very famous for the flip at Le Mans, for what we can say a sort of lack of study of aerodynamics under draft or under slipstream. And thankfully nobody got injured for the lack of, let's say, studies under slipstreams, under changing heights in altitude. And this happened anyway for the Mercedes CLK model, here the number 35, driven and seen at Le Mans by Bernd Schneider, Klaus Ludwig and Mark Webber, and this is the first one. The 36 numbered model is the same, obviously, with at the wheel Jean-Marc Gounon, Ricardo Zonta, the Brazilian one, and Christophe Bouchot. Same year, 1998, same attitude. Another famous car for the flip had at Road Atlanta, if I'm not wrong, within the American Le Mans series, the GT1 Porsche 911. This time we have at the wheel Jörg Müller, Uber Alsen, and one of my heroes, Bob Wollek. This is the number 25. The number 26, you will recognize it because of the orange front nose, with Laurent Aiello, Alan McNish and Stéphane Ortelli. Two beautiful cars for sure, homologated with the minimum number of production car for road use, let's say prone to flip for instability from an aerodynamic point of view. We go in Japan with the monster, the 98 Toyota GT1. We have seen this car racing at Le Mans, and this is exactly the model of that year. At the wheel, very tiny written, Martin Brundle, Emmanuel Collard and the Italian Vincenzo Sospiri with the number 28. We will have also the number 29 with Thierry Boutsen, Ralph Kelleners and Alan McNish. Beautiful, beautiful monster. Also, this one was not anymore, let's say, a GT1 car homologated for races, because no road cars would have a hole within the cover of the wheels. But at that point, once the German manufacturers started to go, as said, over the principles of road cars homologated for racing use, at that point everybody was free to choose to fake a road car ready to be produced in the minimum number required by the FIA rules. So for the GT1, we will have a Lotus, 2 McLarens, 2 Mercedes, 2 Porsches, 2 Toyotas for this particular race. We are going to race 50 cars for Long Beach. We start with the GT2 category, so proper road cars, let's say purchased in a saloon and made lighter and safer. This time with the all GT2 cars will come from the American Le Mans series of the year 2000 that to me was almost in some way the beginning of the modern GT cars preparation for pure racing usage. And so we have this BMW M3 GTR with 2 equipes, the Hans Stuck that strangely here is reported with Austrian flag, but for what I know he is German, Mr. Sed and Mr. Van Overbeek with the number 6. The number 10, still from the same team but with a different paint scheme, with the brothers Cunningham at the wheel and Mr. Lowe to complete the equipe. Viper, that was originally produced by Dodge, then acquired by Chrysler, anyway year 96, this is the model Viper GT SR, at the wheel with the number 50, Olivier Beretta, Philippe Gache and Eric Helary, and the number 51 will give us the opportunity to see Justin Bell, the son of my hero Derek Bell, Mr. Dupuis, and another hero, Mr. Perry McCarthy. I may suggest to you to read the book written by this great driver that unluckily didn't have all the lucky, in my opinion, deserved for a driver quick like him, but sometimes history can be very sad for some drivers. Corvette will bring the model C5R of the Corvette Racing official racing team. Number 3 with Ron Fellows and Johnny O'Connell in the cockpit. The number 4, beautiful as well, with Andy Pilgrim and Kelly Collins driving this monster that you can see here in one of the first winning editions coming from the 90s, where let's say Corvette was not maybe so internationally winning capable back then. You can remember also the colorway Corvette we have used in the B.P.R, but from this model onwards, Corvette and Chrysler really started to raise the bar for the game and transformed literally from these years onwards the Corvette into a special winning cars in many competitions. But I didn't want to lose the origin of the Dodge Viper, because 2 years earlier than the Team Oreca we have seen before, so from 96 back to 94, the rent-a-car racing team did bring to Le Mans 2 beautiful cars. The first one painted in orange with yellow front lights, so yes, will be an issue to see the car performing in the night, but in reality they had anyway the possibility to race with a normal light function. I did like the idea to have one of my hero of the past, René Arnoux, the French winning driver, together again with Justin Bell and Mr. Bala for this number 40 car. The 41 still from the same team but painted in yellow with front orange missing lights. At the wheel another French equipe, that is the Migaud, Morin and Gache. Absolutely beautiful, still in a old adaptation, let's say. Was basically the road legal version, just let's say painted and added with a rear wing to improve the handling but at high speed. Another missing heroes coming from the B.P.R years and from the British GT National Championship, and not only, but arrived maybe a bit later compared to the B.P.R years that maybe were the right positioning for these cars. We have the British Newcastle United Lister and Lister Cars Limited with the Lister Storm, one car that I think who is old like me will remember very easily. It was included also in the original GTR2 game for the season 2003 and 2004, powered by a 7 liters Jaguar V12 engine, yes, the same engine updated we have seen in the Group C period powering the Jaguar's official equipe in Group C with the models XJR9, 10 up to the 12 version before the arrival of the 14 version powered by a Ford V8, and luckily this engine survived and arrived to dress this beautiful monster. If you remember, also using the rear lights of the Audi 80, if I'm not wrong, just from an economic point of view, to have something to put under the car, or at least this type of lights is what brings my memories back to the Audi 80, car of the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s. And yes, we will have Geoff Lees, Tiff Needle and Adrian Reed, if I remember correctly his name, for the Newcastle soccer team sponsored one. 2 years earlier there was the Le Mans version of the same car, of the Lister Cars limited official racing team, raced as said in Le Mans. At the wheel again Geoff Lees, Dominic Chappell and Rupert Keegan. We go ahead, another model that I had the opportunity to see with my eyes at Monza in the B.P.R 96 race. We will have 2 versions, the 95 of the Team Marcos, driven again by another hero back then, François Migaud, with the same equipe of David Leslie and Chris Marsh. The car was powered by a Chevrolet V8 7 liters, and believe me, at Monza the sound at the maximum RPM was crazy. I do remember that was not very competitive. The car started also as a GT2 car back in the starting field, but even between the McLarens, the Porsches, etc., you could easily recognize the sound of this monster. And the following year, this was the version I do remember at Le Mans, but was very also similar, despite some changes in the sponsorship, to what I've seen with my eyes in Monza. If my father will give me all the pictures of the B.P.R 96 Monza appointment, I will publish them here. And I had the opportunity to see this car driven by Koreuser, Erdos and Dro. Again, beautiful, coming from small manufacturers from UK, and what a pity that IMSA is not allowing small manufacturers like Glickenhaus and not only to participate nowadays in the IMSA Championship. I hope they will change their mind, because it's absolutely mandatory to keep alive small manufacturers that can homologate maybe a tiny number of cars for road use and then propose them on a racing environment and obviously sell them as a ready-to-race package. We cannot miss the GT2 Porsches, so we have the Rook Racing 911 model, coming again from the American Le Mans series, or from the 24 Hours of Le Mans of those years, end of 90s, end of B.P.R era, and belonging to the FIA GT Championship or the American Le Mans series. Here, this model of the Rook Racing, driven by the American Rice and the Germans Hurtgen and Haupt. Same car, but from the famous Conrad Motorsport that we have seen many times in our Around the World in 24 Hours. This time with Franz Conrad, Christian Slater, who knows, maybe it's the actor, I'm joking, and John Paul Jr., sponsored by the MGN Metro Goldwyn Mayer Grand, the city of entertainment. I think it was the right choice from a beautiful sponsorship point of view, and I hope to drive this car during this season, really. Also because if you remember, within my Around the World in 24 Hours first season, I've missed to race the Group C Porsches and the GT Porsches on purpose to keep them to be driven now in the 2 championship I'm going to produce and share with you. Let's go again with GT2 car, the American Saline, a monster, absolutely a monster, having a 7 liters engine, V8 displacement, another crazy car, managed by the Conrad Motorsport. At the wheel we are going to have Terry Berscheller, Tony Sealer, and again the great Franz Conrad, that really founded a team capable to stay and to survive many years of racing and bringing very often like this crazy and beautiful cars on tracks. We have also a Japanese not very well known small manufacturer producer. The name is SARD. We have two particular years. The Sardco Limited from 95, with this model seen at Le Mans, coming from Japan, well prepared, with not, let's say, a lot of lucky at their side. At the wheel we have had Alain Fertet, the Italian Mauro Martini, and the late Jeff Krosnoff. We say hello to Jeff, that unluckily did a sad end for his life and his career with the IndyCar crash that unluckily many of us will remember sadly. And we will drive also this car, I can promise. That's worth the test. The following year, we are in 96, the team Manicon started this partnership, if you like. And again, we had Alain Fertet and Mauro Martini together, this time with Pascal Fabre. Same car, different sponsorship, but very beautiful indeed. Okay, this was the GT presentation of GT1 and GT2. Now we go to the LMP and the World Sports Car categories, even if everybody, let's say every car, will bring points to the manufacturer as a single producer. So we start with the famous Le Mans winning car BMW V12. Remember that BMW did place the name, but the chassis was developed by Williams Formula 1, so BMW really did just place the engine for this and the money for this monster. We have the number 42 at the wheel, Jörg Müller, JJ Leto, and the great hero Tom Christensen with the number 42. We will have also the number 43. I think there is a mistake because the graphic here does report again Jörg Müller, Leto, Tom Christensen. I'm not sure about it. Maybe it was just a graphic lack of research. We will discover it. Cadillac. Welcome back to the IMSA Championship. I've seen those cars running with my eyes at the Daytona 24 Hours Rolex. Magic to see again Cadillac bring a new car. This one was the first tentative after many years to try to win the prototypes category or the barchettas category. The official Cadillac will bring the number one Andy Wallace, Leitziger and Lagorce at the wheel of the number one. The engine was an incredible Cadillac North Star 4 liters V8. The number two, seen at Le Mans, will bring Wayne Taylor, Eric Van de Pone and the Italian Max Angelelli. Beautiful again, absolutely. That's worth to be here today. We go in France with the Courage, or Courage, maybe Courage, C51 model, year 98 for both. The Courage competition, with the number 13, Didier Cottas, Marc Gossens and Jean-Philippe Belloc, the number 14, with the Courage competition with this sponsorship and very well made graphic replica of Frederick, of the Swede Frederick Ekblom, the French Patrick Gaillet and the Japanese Tetsuya Tsuchiya-san. The model C52 may be seen also in Gran Turismo, sometimes on PlayStation, of the Pescarolo Sport, a very famous livery for sure. I'm sorry, but I cannot read the names of the drivers here, so we will rely on the official name once they will be on track. Lola, the UK manufacturer that did allow many private teams to be competitive into LMP1 or LMP2 categories. This is the model B2K10 at the wheel, the Italian Mimmo at the wheel, the Italian Mimmo Schiattarella, Emanuele Naspetti and the Belgian De Radigues. This car in particular at the power plant of the Judd V10 naturally aspirated 4-liter engine with the Team Raffanelli SRL. The Conrad, Mr. Slater and Franz Conrad will have the same model but powered by a Roush 6-liter Ford V8. Bear in mind this Roush engine because we'll come back very soon. Still LMP1 Nissan with the model R391 that, if I'm not wrong, under the hood has a similar V8 engine as we have seen within the Nissan GT1 model back at the end of the 90s. This time the official Nissan Motorsport will give this car to Enrico Ma, Motoyama e Kaseyama-san, another car that I wanted to be present today. Number 23, same car, and again with maybe some issues with the names on the chassis, but we will see then once on track. Pennots, Don Pennots, the great Don Pennots. We say hello also to Sir Don Pennots. What a hero as a manufacturer and organizer, and thanks to him the American Le Mans Series has become a reality. Back in '99, as you know, was also a small car manufacturer, if you can call him small, with the model Roadster S, number 1 and number 2, the Pennots Motorsport, with the Pennots Motorsports racing team, another monster to see on track, again with a Roush 6-liter Ford engine. At the wheel we will have Gary Brabham, Andy Wallace and the French Bernard. The number 2, here we are, puts at the wheel the American O'Connell and the Norwegian Jan Magnussen, yes, the father of Kevin Magnussen, currently Formula 1 Haas racing team driver. Last LMP1 with the Rainer 2KQ, again a small manufacturer capable to build beautiful racing cars, year 2000, with the Mopar Team Oreca PlayStation sponsored, another great beast I wanted to see here, with a Chrysler V8 6-liter engine, same car but with the Johansson Matthews racing equipe, at the wheel Stefan Johansson that is with despite the American flag, and Guy Smith in what was the class LMP 900. The engine was the before mentioned Judd V10 4-liter powertrain. It will be interesting to see the Reynards and the Lolas, how they will perform with different engines. I wanted to keep also another small manufacturer, that is WR, with the LMP2 model of the Welter Gerhard and the Rackel Welter race teams of the year 2000. The number 35, powered by a tiny Peugeot 2 liters 4-cylinder inline but turbocharged, with at the wheel 3 French drivers, Monsieur Pompidou, Dodi and Bouvet, and here you have the 35 number yellow colored one, the 36 with Balandra, Boulet and Terada San, again with the Peugeot 2 liters 4-cylinder inline turbocharged car. We will see then if others LMP2 cars will be feasible to be inserted into this championship. Finally Ferrari, because couldn't miss about the World Sports Car category created at the end of the 90s after the demise of Group C, that did bring, let's say, specific purpose-built racing cars into the classics of endurance. We will have, as you can see, 2 cars coming from the 98, one from the year 2000, one from the 1999. Let's start with the first one, the winning Daytona 24 Hours of Giampiero Moretti, founder of the Momo Italian company. He will share the car with Didier Theis and the Italian Mauro Baldi. Next model, the Doyle Risi racing team, with Fermin Velez, Wayne Taylor and Eric Van de Poel. As you can see, graphically a bit different from the other. Third model, year 2000, the Doran Lista Racing, will be very easily recognizable, with Mauro Baldi, Didier Theis and Franz Lienert, if I remember correctly the name. Year 99, with the Jabouille Buresh sponsored GS model, with Mauro Baldi, Policand and Christian Pescatori, another Italian ace. Then we arrive finally to what you have seen maybe from the cover of this episode, where we will have the Riley&Scott, the Mark IIIA model, with the Team Raffanelli, as you have seen with the Lola B2KQ. This is the model powered by the Judd V10, with at the wheel Mimo Schiattarella and Eric Coma, the Dyson Racing Riley&Scott with the Ford Roush 6 liters, with two of my heroes, James Weaver and Andy Wallace, the number 20, still powered by the same engine that in some previous version was also the Oldsmobile Aurora, if you remember. The winning car of Daytona was powered by that engine, but here we have the Forbes Robinson and Leitziger model, as said, with the Roush 6 liter V8 engine. Maybe an old concept, but very reliable. We are going to drive this one. For this appointment, I've decided to race and hopefully to not make a bad performance of two of my heroes. So we will be at the wheel of this Riley&Scott Mark IIIA of James Weaver and Andy Wallace. Beautiful, incredible. You will see in the Daytona recap that the previous year or 2 years before model was there available in the paddock in the village of Daytona, and it has been a huge emotion to finally see with my eyes this car that generally I had the opportunity just to basically see on Italian magazines about motorsport, and during the Daytona days I had the opportunity also to shake my hand and say thank you to Mr. Bill Riley, the son of Mr. Riley, the designer, that worked on this model and especially worked on the Intrepid Chevrolet that I love so much. But this car is exactly the continuation of the Riley&Scott, is exactly the continuation, especially for the front shovel nose and the level of downforce generated. So basically is an Intrepid Chevrolet with the roof cut and differently arranged at the back, at the rear end, but under the hood is more or less the Intrepid Chevrolet, so really or at least a direct evolution of the Intrepid Chevrolet. So again, another monster. I hope that in a street circuit like this will help to score a decent qualification session and a decent race. Final result. So let's go on track to qualify this monster. In particular for this race I wanted to make some notes. The first one, I will use a 100% strength of the opponents. We will run all the sessions, hopefully to have a decent starting field, not mixed. The race will be, as said, 100 minutes, so 1 hour and 40 minutes. And from a realism point of view, I will use a normal tire wear, a normal fuel use, and a time-scaled mechanical failures, just to be sure to try a different race strategy. If you like, maybe we will do just one pit stop, but everything will happen in real time. And I wanted to try also this particular arrangement to see what can be the reaction of the opponents without, let's say, forcing tire wear and fuel usage also for them. So the summary is basically this one, and maybe we can start the race at 15 o'clock in the afternoon and arrive up to 5 p.m. in the afternoon before the evening or arrival. This is the race setup, so we can go and continue to finally go on track. I can't wait. Good, with less than 25 minutes to go, there is a quite decent mixed classification with a Lola B2K10 at the top of the ranking, then a Peanuts, a GT1 Toyota, the other Peanuts, WR, Reynard, etc. I mean, you can see they are quite well combined in some way, and if we go down to also the rest of the field, there is quite a nice mix. I think affected a bit by some crashes here and there, but mainly I would say, apart from the two Courage C51 not running currently, and our Riley&Scott number 16 not yet put on track, you can see a lot of GT2 cars slower. There is a Ferrari of Polycam, Jérôme Polycam, not very quick like Eric Van de Pole. Then GT1 McLarens, Lotus Elise, Ferrari. I mean, it's nicely mixed and will, I think, affect a bit also the race. So very good so far. So let's start to load our current setup that I've prepared before. As you can see, this is the first page. We are going to bring down to maybe 6 laps, not more. Let's do 11 liters, 8 laps, rev limiter at the maximum. Then the rest you can see is what I've prepared with the front roll bar and lyric suspension systems, very hard and tight and stiff at the front, decently smooth at the rear. If you want to copy and paste this figure and try at home, then you can tell me if you feel comfortable or not. So I would go on track and let's see if we can at least place ourselves. I would say yes, top 15 would be okay, because at least I want to be quick like the Riley&Scott Mark III, given that we are using 100% strength for the current opponent. So I want to test myself with the proper level of competition with the others. Almost 20 minutes to go. Just let's check to have soft tires for the qualification, and then we will see what we will achieve. So let's bear in mind this 1:15.5 of Butch Latziger with the quickest currently Riley&Scott. So with 17 minutes to go, I've prepared this car setup that you can see here in page 1 and here in page 2. If you want to screenshot the current view, no problem to me. It's a stiff front end and as much as possible a soft rear end should be enough. I'm taking just 11 liters for 8 laps and that's it. And let's see. The possible timing to consider is this one, 1:15.5 by Butch Latziger with the other Riley&Scott is the Dyson Racing, the number 20, basically our teammate. I want to challenge myself to be at least aligned with possibly the teammate. Let's see. So hello, you can see me from the cockpit. I'm not yet dressed up like with the helmet and the racing suit, but who knows, in the future I can be very silly with this kind of stuff. Anyway, let's warm up tires and let's try the qualification with 15 minutes, 11 minutes left at this point. Let's try to get the pace. I've arranged the car to have a long first gear and the others very close one each other, because we are not going to start from a Formula 1 style. Tires are a bit cold, I would say. But let's start for the first of the 2 or 3 laps of qualifying. 5 gears in total. Sorry, 6 gears in total. I was still with my mind with the Intrepid. A bit wide, out of the racing ideal line. Okay, let's push a bit. A bit wide. So let's save a bit tires for the next lap. I was also a bit out of the line, I've seen, out of the groove, if you want to call it this way. So we'll try to be more at the center of the track. Bit wide. Ooh, 7 seconds off the pace of my teammate. What a shame. Definitely this car has more potential, even if I'm almost burning. Did you see? For a second there was the 115 red alert color of engine and oil, so let's calm down a bit and then we will try the next lap, even if tires are not anymore completely refreshed, sorry, from a new set.
You're running low on fuel. Pit in next lap.
Okay, let's try another one with also the slipstream of this Toyota GT1. Red again. I have to check the radiator size because sounds quite prone to be overheated, this engine. You see, in the mid-left part of the screen, gets overheated. So let's have a quick look. No, there isn't the possibility to decide the. We can only decrease the RPM, but let's say that for a qualifying session we will keep 7,800 and then we will reduce it for the race. 2 minutes and 20 to go. Maybe I can try a quick lap coming out from the pit and just do the last one.
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag in sector 1.
Because we have 1 minute 45 seconds to the end, so we can do the pace lap. While I forgot to remove the B.P.R file with the 6-time factor for the change of time. I will fix it before the start of the race, so everything will be perfectly fit for the type of race I had in mind. A GT car in front. The wall, almost.
You're running low on fuel. It's in next lap.
Okay, session ended. P25, what a drama. What a drama, absolutely. Very bad indeed. 5 seconds off the pace of my teammate. And with already the best lap time scored in my current session, and compared also to all the free practice I did offline, so not really the best scenario. But anyway, let's go to the second session. See you in a second. Again on track, we will try a second tentative in the qualifying 2. I show you anyway the pit entrance. That is here. So for the single pit stop we are going to do.
Okay, slow the car down.
We will park here. Fine but not fine, so around 112 the first 3 cars. 2 LMP1 and a GT1, sorry. 113, 114, 115. And yes, I'm off the pace in a bad way. Here we are, 117.5. It's true that we are basically running between the 2 Ferraris, but my teammate is much better than myself. Here we are with Eric Coma. So it's not a drama, it's 1 second and 3/10 off the pace. I can try in the next qualifying session 2 to do much better, because I do want anyway arrive closer and closer. So yes, here again with soft tires, I will try to maximize the potential of this car going on track immediately before the arrival of the others. As I said, 1:16.2. Sorry, 1:15.5, so I was wrong. I was not only slower than Butch Latziger 1:15.5, but also compared to Eric Comar, that is the other teammate. Very bad, Marco. Very bad. Let's try to bring also a bit at the back the braking balance. Brake balance. Oops. Now let's try to get rid of these GT cars.
You're running low on fuel. Begin next lap.
Almost lost the car and lost a lot of time.
There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
Bang.
You got some damage to the front end of the car, man. You're probably going to get some understeer. Here's the deal. You can either come into the pits now or wait until your schedule stops. It's your call. Let me know.
Not easy, huh? So because I think we have to cure a bit the understeer, I would like to go down with the wing between rear wing, sorry, from 20 to 17, anti-roll bar at the maximum the rear, so the car should turn easily, but to make it turn a bit better I will reduce the front from 170 to down to 150 Newton per millimeters. This way the car should turn easily in the low speed corner where the aerodynamic is less important and where the mechanical grip is more important. Let's try this test.
Hey, heads up. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Yellow flag in Sector 1.
Because I have found a lot of understeer, strangely from the previous offline tests I did, so maybe the condition of the tracks, has changed, and also reducing the rear wing by 3 notches, 3 points. Should give a bit more of top speed. I hope without compromising the general balance of the car dramatically. Luckily a GT car in sight. Not keen to let me pass. Ooh. There's maybe a bit of aero broken. Too confident. Untouched by the previous BMW. So I would suggest to go back to the garage, keep the 150 at the front, go to 160, just a touch to possibly reduce the oversteering that now there is, and also I would put here the 55-45. Okay, we have a bit of space with the coming red car. It is a Ferrari 333 SP, maybe the Momo one. So we'll let them all pass. There's also BMW McLaren GTR. Luckily they went to the pit. Ooh. Okay, now at least we have a clear track in front of us. Okay, front tires are cooked, so there will be not the possibility to improve. So let's go to the pit. And going to the pit, there was I think a better drivability, to be fair, even if I'm still where? P25. So I do prefer to have a better handling and maybe cope with the race like this, even if I'm really, yes, good because I'm between the two Ferraris that are equal, similar models. But wow, really far from my teammates. P12 Butch Leitziger 115.5, P15 Eric Coma 16.2, so I'm the slowest of the Riley on track today, 2 seconds clear. What to say, the improvement of the lap time is not a monster. I mean 17.5 compared to what was 17.7. The car is more drivable, so I would anyway prepare the car like this. The only thing will be to go to hard compound at the front for sure and keep maybe the soft tires at the rear. It's a combined thing, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. We will see. Go down to 7,400 despite having maybe less top speed, but at least I can manage to save the engine, because it was, if you had a look here on the top left corner, there was the engine temperatures, sorry, there was the water and oil temperature of the engine absolutely red and going to the roof. I don't want it because it will not save the reliability of the car. And the other thing will be with the 1 hour and 40 minutes to race, if with 90 liters like by set of rules back then there was almost the total coverage of the race, I would divide by 50 minutes and 50 minutes more or less, let's say 55 and 55, the coverage with one pit stop, real time, real usage, and maybe not starting with the full tank loaded. Maybe will help a bit, I would say, the handling and the tire consumption, so we can save this car setup, and if you need it we can screenshot this arrangement for the race. And also I would maybe go down in pressure for the left side of the car, that is the one more stressed, because as you can see the central part of the tire is overheating on the front left, so maybe we can do a 177 and equalize in some way the usage. Also the camber can go down by 0.0 degree to make work a bit better the external side. Also here 0.9, also here 0.9, and also here minus 1.2. So with this track condition, also one tire pressure less, yes, could be okay. So basically I'm trying to level up all the tires, make them work properly. Then we will see during race period what will happen. So the left side of the car has been treated a bit differently, maybe needs more pressure here, as said, less pressure here. Here is okay, here is okay. Just, let's say, move the camber of the tires to be more flat on the surface of the track. As said, just one pit stop with 55 minutes of coverage will be enough, will be too much, I don't know. Let's start with this. If we will discover that it is not okay to push over the 40 minutes stint the car, we will arrange a first pit stop with less fuel loaded, so to stop after 35 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever, and then add a second pit stop. But I would go with this figure. Let's see what happens. So that's it. See you in the race. Okay, so with a remixed, unluckily starting grid, despite having saved and run all the sessions, like very often happens with GTR2 and Power and Glory that uses the GTR2 engine. Despite the suggestions of Sela, a guy that did write a complete manual about many video games of this era, we are going anyway to race for 1 hour and 40 minutes in a manner that is very common, especially in America, North America, for the WeatherTech SportsCar Championship, for the ex-IMSA Championship, for what I remember. I mean, it was a nice solution. You can drive long enough to... drive long enough to enjoy yourself at the wheel of a sports car. Sports cars that, for this era, end of 90s and beginning of year 2000, let's say the era that did bring the barchettas, the Le Mans prototype type of cars, or as was named for the IMSA Championship, World Sports Car overall. They were, as you have seen, all barchettas, as said, so prototypes with open cockpit. Maybe you can remember much better the Audi different evolutions of this category. Combined with the fake GT1 cars of the end of the 90s, like the fake road car Mercedes CLK, the Toyota GT1, the Porsche 911 GT1, they were all but normal road cars transformed into racing cars, plus a bunch of Grand Tourers GT2, basically, coming from the American Le Mans series of year 2000. That was the beginning, I think, of the modern GT cars, but it's time to race. We have also some B.P.R. cars, like the Marcos, the Lister, that we haven't seen during the Around the World in 24 hours. From P25 to P43 starting here. Let's try to stay away from troubles. Even if someone is kicked.
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Yellow flag in Sector 1.
Let's try to get rid of many GT cars as possible, GT2 especially. P26.
There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
Almost recovered what we've lost. Oops, touched the BMW, GT2.
Alright, careful now. Looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
Destroyed a bit of aero. Yellow flag at the hairpin. Let's try to stay away from the troubles. I passed under yellow flags. I don't know if I will receive a punishment. Ooh, very wide. Ah, lost the momentum. Down to P29. Okay, the car seems okay. Yes, still the aero slightly damaged. Already 41 seconds from the leaders. Situation should normalize after the first problems with different speeds for different cars, especially in the low part of the hairpin. Like for every street circuit, it's important to gain a sort of rhythm. And despite limiting the revs to 7,400, as you can see from the left box where there are temperatures for tires.
Alright, careful now. Looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
101 degrees Celsius for the water, engine water. Sorry, but I'm having troubles with the gear shift. Okay, I've lost the position. So because the higher temperatures already facing compared to the previous test I did, a busy Howard. No. This was a bad touch. Okay, not a destroying touch. 7.2 seconds to repair aero from 6.5. The Toyota. This was a lucky.
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Yellow flag in Sector 1.
As you have seen, sorry, a bit of drama. P24 with the help of some crashes and touches here and there. The understeer starts to be present. Despite the front hard compound chosen, and luckily the consumption is very high. So if this will be a not tried before race with the mandatory pit stop for tire management, because at a certain point there will be the cliff and front tires will not work anymore. You will have to try to basically drive on problems.
Alright, careful now. Looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
There's also maybe a change of weather. I see the sky very grey. Very sneaky move, using the overlapped cars GT to take advantage of the Porsche 911 GT1.
There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Alright, careful now. Looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
Again another sneaky move. Many are going to the pit. P13 after the first.
Hey, heads up. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Yellow flag in Sector 1.
Another sneaky move, the third in a row, using the traffic to actually take advantage of a better placement on track. So after 11 laps we are P8. It's still a pit to do, but 52 seconds far from Yuki Terada. I don't remember with which car.
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Yellow flag in Sector 1.
Was an overlapped car, so nothing special to do, even if it was not keen to be passed. Two B.P.R cars, the Marcos and the Corvette. We are overlapping also Butch Latziger, that was before very slow on track. We passed the Ferrari of Didier Theis that still follows us.
Alright, careful now. Looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
So let's start to do some calculations. Ooh, but the other Riley. But what happened? Idiot. Okay, the car seems okay, more or less. Yes, no major damages. There's an overlapped car, but it already did the pit.
There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
They are quicker due to the new set of tires. But they are overlapped, so I will not let them in front. So as soon as I say that we have to do some calculations, someone did hit us at the back, so this time I will stay out of the again. The AI sometimes, when you go up too strong with the strength, starts to behave strangely enough. Sorry, I was saying, if we do some calculation, also a GT1 by Toyota in the middle. So after 20 minutes and more of race, we have almost cooked by half the front tires. We are not quick enough to cope with overlapped cars that are much quicker than us despite being slower with equal strategy. So to recap, after 16 laps, to do 16 laps more or less we took 20 minutes. Yes, I didn't see them.
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag
Thank you very much to this idiot. Okay, so the car is basically destroyed. Will require on the left, you can read, 12 seconds for the aero. 40 seconds for the front splitter. Another crash here.
There's a yellow flag in sector 2. Yellow flag in sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
A bit of smoke here. Beautifully made. And 95 seconds for the front suspension plus. As you can see from the other part of the graphic, the front right tire is grey, does mean that you don't have basically more front tire. So at this point I would change also the strategy, because we will lose almost 2 laps just for repairing the car, and after 17 laps, let's say 20, front tires were almost gone. So, what are they doing?
Get in at the end of this lap. Get in.
So I would keep the 40 liters.
Okay, slow the car down.
Covering 31 laps as a general rule for what we need to do. So yes, replace the suspension, the splitter, the aero, yes. Still rear tires, as you can see from there, rear tires are okay, have still a bit of green for the grip. Front tires still hard, no problem. I would go down with the fuel, having let's say 45 liters. 45 liters, not more, for each stint. There isn't the possibility to see what they are doing. Okay, they start with the refueling. Done.
Repairs underway. Hold for go signal.
Here, there is a Courage. Without the rear wing, now repaired. What a pity. We were in the top 10, top 5 almost.
Hurry up, guys. We're losing positions.
We will go dead last, I think. But really, I didn't see the car reversed on track, and and then we will try
All
to...
clear, go, go, go! All clear, go, go, go!
Okay. P29, 1 lap, almost 2 laps down from the leader, Schneider Weber with the Mercedes CLK. So now it's just a do or die race. And let's try to arrive in top 10 possibly. Let's warm up tires before.
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag in sector 1.
Starting to attack. So now what is left is just try to run and race
Hey, blue flag's waving, man, you gotta pull over.
as smooth as we can without
Hey, blue flag's waving, man, you gotta pull over.
any more troubles, possibly. I will not accept the blue flags, possibly, at least with the GT cars. Not bad, this double passage for an old man like me. So with the risk to get penalized ignoring the blue flags,
Alright, careful now, looks like there's a yellow flag in sector 3. Sector 3. Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag in...
a bit wide, no problem. So sorry, I was distracted by many things. Basically, we are dead lost.
Hey, heads up, there's a yellow flag in sector 1. Yellow flag in sector 1.
With full course yellow in this moment. Oh, there's a huge crash here. Okay, this should be the leader, Bernd Schneider with Mark Webber on
Pay attention, man. Full course yellow. Race director just called a full course yellow. Get ready to line up behind the pace car.
okay, where is the Marcos?
Yeah, you gotta drop back a little bit, man. You're in front of the car that you're supposed to be following. Yeah, you gotta drop back a little bit, man. You're in front of the car that you're supposed to be following. Yeah, you gotta drop back a little bit, man. You're in front of the car that you're supposed to be following.
What happened here?
Yeah, you gotta drop back a little bit, man. You're in front of the car that you're supposed to be following. Yeah, you gotta drop back a little bit, man. You're in front of the car that you're supposed to be following.
Okay. Now we should be okay. Behind the 71, yes, the Marcos. So, I try to summarize because I've been completely overwhelmed by everything that has happened. So there is a full course yellow, you can see. Not anymore.
Yeah, you gotta drop back a little bit, man. You're in front of the car that you're supposed to be following.
The heretic...
You gotta drop back a little bit, man. You're in front of the car that you're supposed to be following.
Okay. The erratic movements of the Marcos were a bit strange. Now the Corvette also hit me. Thank you. So it's a full course yellow for some huge crash somewhere. This is clear to me. This will have to make a group a bit maybe compact, and will give us the opportunity maybe to go back to a decent distance with the others. And as always with GTR2, when you are as said around 100% of strength for the AI, hard crashes happen.
Yeah, you gotta drop back a little bit, man. You're in front of the car that you're supposed to be following.
Again, the Corvette pushing. Listen, stay in front and that's it. Okay. So apart from all the mess happened, we are P27 out of 50. And I don't know how many cars are really racing again. The Marcos is not basically catching the others, or maybe yes. Here there is another Dodge Viper GT2 broken. Then, if we will be closer to the rest of the field, maybe we'll open up for us the possibility to think, at least, to do something good, something different, maybe. Because from a strategy point of view, I don't know if we have a different scenario. I mean, we did almost 20 laps and front tires were cooked before the huge crash. So if we have to last 20 laps for each stint of tires, it's almost a 25-minute resistance, and it's not a great deal. I mean, 25, 50, 75, 90, sorry, 105, yes, we risk to do 3 pit stops, maybe like the others were doing before the full yellow. So what is left is try to avoid mistakes, to avoid other crashes, to avoid to be in the middle of the mess, and hopefully stretch this stint into something decent. Anyway, I will shut up now and I will reconnect, sorry, once there will be green flag. Okay, it's green flag from now. We are a bit far from the action.
Hey, blue flag's waving, man. You gotta pull over.
Let's try to regain the group in front. Not easy with cold tires.
Alright, careful now. Looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
So in the hairpin, maybe. Yes, I see the smoke. No! No! I finished in the worst position possible.
Hey, heads up. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Yellow flag in Sector 1.
Personal best 19.331 on a race day. Okay, under 1 hour of race now. 56 minutes left. 16 seconds from the car in front of us.
Hey, heads up. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Yellow flag in Sector 1.
This is a Schneider Weber car, so we can reduce.
Hey, blue flag's waving, man. You gotta pull over.
Yes, I wanted to remove one lap down.
Hey, blue flag's waving, man. You gotta pull over. Hey, blue flag's waving, man. You gotta pull over.
Obviously the BMW V12 will be one of the leaders, but I have to pass them if they are slower than me, especially in the most driven.
Alright, careful now. Looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
Ooh, a car upside down.
Hey, blue flag's waving, man. You gotta pull over. Hey, blue flag's waving, man. You gotta pull over.
I will not do it. Almost half of the race gone, 53 minutes left.
Hey, heads up. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Yellow flag in Sector 1. Hey, blue flag's waving, man. You gotta pull over.
Oops.
There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
Okay, I cannot anymore overdrive the car. The the upside down car was the Ferrari 333
Alright, careful now. Looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
of Eric van der Pole. This is a slow. Ooh, the Toyota. Who knows? Who is retired? Who will discover it? I have also to take a bit of calm to use less the engine, because I'm putting temperatures to the roof. We will use just the first green LED rev limiter. Okay, the grey Mercedes CLK is not the leader, it's Bushu Zonta, so it's not the opportunity to go into the lap leader, but let's continue to pass as much as possible cars.
Hey, blue flag's waving, man. You gotta pull over.
Not a bad choice to overstress the front left tire. As you have seen, I was very wide and touched the wall. Okay, we passed the Riley and Scott of the Team Raffanelli with Enrico Ma. Oh my god! It started to burn in front of us immediately. Let's hope to not have the same destiny. Okay, we are close. Look at the top left corner with the front left tire almost unusable. How quick is the WR Peugeot? Just a 2 liters engine turbocharged, but really liked. It was an LMP2.
Hey, blue flag's waving, man. You gotta pull over.
So if you're quicker, go. Open me the road. Open for me the road. Yes, the front left is almost cooked. And also the Riley and Scott with this 6-liter Rush engine doesn't drink so much fuel. If you remember, we started with 60 something liters, so maybe we can basically run lighter coming out from the next pit stop. Okay, 41 minutes left. We last basically 30 minutes more or less, if I'm not wrong with my calculations about tires. Now the more used is the tire, like the front left, the more it goes up in temperature and never recover from that. What are you doing? So maybe we can start to think to stop now or in the next lap. Oops, sorry. We don't have a lot of top speed. But the handling is not bad. Up to P9, but it's time to stop before burning entirely the front left. We are not taking advantage of a full course yellow, so that's it, but the car doesn't turn anymore. So yes, we can reduce by down to 50 liters, I suppose, 38 laps. Yeah, we did 40 laps with 65 plus 45. So with 100 liters, we arrived to cover 60 minutes, more or less, I would say. So yes, we can try a 50 and then maybe, I would say, just evaluate splash and go, I think. We will lose one lap for sure, for what I see.
Repairs underway. Hold for go signal. All clear. Go, go, go. All clear. Go, go, go.
First gear was not entering, so possibly we had the coverage of fuel to do easily, so we'll try to drive as smooth as possible to not overstress the tires. Especially the front end. Sorry, I'm not commenting the rest of the race, but apart from seeing always Schneider-Weber as leaders,
Hey, blue flag's waving, man. You gotta pull over.
I'm completely busy on taking each corner in the best way possible. It sounds logical, but it's not really easy on a street road, on a street circuit, sorry. So sorry for not being so talkative as usual. Maybe it's better this way. Oops. Where they stopped in the middle of the track, and they were, I would say, leaders in some way. Or in the best positions compared to myself. Okay, Collis Pilgrim with the Corvette passed. Schneider-Weber are stopping now, maybe for their last pit stop, the leaders. We are currently in the top 10, luckily. Ooh, luckily they crashed together, we pass. So we avoided this mess. At least for the braking zone. Crash avoided. Toyotas are spinning like hell today. Wow, what a remontada so far. P3 with maybe one pit stop to do left. We'll see if I will succeed on making last front tires. Yuki Terada in the pit, the second placed.
There's a yellow flag in sector 2, a yellow flag in sector 2. Eyes open, okay?
Yes, we passed Terada, but maybe he's exiting the pit. I'm not going to catch for sure Schneider Webber. I'm very decently quick now, but still with the ghost of possibly another pit stop and a touch on the wall. My god, the front left is gone. Especially in the final hairpin. I really don't know how to not stress the tire. I mean, it's the more stressed part of the car. I cannot change the geometry of the track. And every time you go up with temperatures, the tire degrades, consumes itself more and more. Oops, the Porsche. Courage of the Pescarolo Sport. He doesn't care to fight. Here there's a clash.
Alright, careful now. Looks like there's a yellow flag in sector 3. Sector 3.
They were the two Cadillacs, if I'm not wrong. They reappear now. We were not battling with them. Okay, for sure I will not catch Schneider-Weber. They are running more or less 1 second slower than me. It's not enough in 16 minutes. And I don't have fresh tires to even think to attack more than this, because or I finish the tires front left, especially stressed in this track, or I just crawl to the end hoping to finish on the podium. And finishing second would be, or on the podium would be, almost a miracle, because we have lost one full lap with all the troubles at the beginning. So again, the level of strength of the AI is difficult to properly set up with a consistent way, in a consistent way. The 100% of Power and Glory this season I'm doing with the old cars, the 60s and the 70s, seems to be the correct spot to not be too competitive like we did in Daytona, winning almost easily with the Ford GT40 and giving laps of gap to our teammates Jack Hicks and Jackie Oliver, not really two slow drivers. This one at 100% is the minimum available, but I see that even if we have lost one lap, we are still close to the leaders. So I would say that maybe we will increase it in the next race. Or maybe the riley&scott is exactly the supercar that was back then. For the first time under 30 seconds gap with Schneider-Weber, not enough to regain in 11 minutes. So I would say P2 or P3 will not make a huge difference. That would be quite a miracle. And I must admit, I am a part of the problem about the front left tire, because the setup you have seen at the beginning of the race is an almost go-kart Red Bull style, with the front end stiff as much as possible, pointed, almost glued to the asphalt, and the rear end very high. I hope to not have no, just aerodynamic damages. Okay, Stefan Johansson 11th doesn't make a problem to our strategy. Eric Coma with the Nissan, the same. They have removed the Ferrari. 7 minutes to go.
Tires worn. Your tires are worn. Take it easy, okay?
You can see how slow I have become for as much as possible resilience and resistance.
Tires worn. Your tires are worn. Take it easy, okay?
I have the fear to arrive to the last lap blowing the left front. It is the major issue for my obsession today. Sorry. So I'm very kind with brakes, steering wheel. I will not defend myself, just in case it would be needed. Because Laurent ILO is charging under 10 seconds, with possibly 2 laps to go. So this time the problem was not with the fuel, but as said, when you push too much to aggressive car setup, you risk to pay something. Again the Toyota spun, sorry. Let's see if the gamble works or not. 6 seconds ILO with the Porsche GT. 1. And there will be one lap more. No, because Schneider Weber are winning now the Long Beach Grand Prix. That's a good sign, because if we can resist this corner, 2 times left, 1 time right for the last time the hairpin.
Careful now, looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
This is a
Alright, careful now, looks like there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Sector 3.
race strategy. Okay, let's leave. My goodness. This was very tough. And I didn't know, because it's the first time I basically race complete real-time GTR2 Power and Glory appointment. Sorry, I'm cooked. More than my tires. So, despite arriving ages after the winning Schneider Weber car, we conquer the second spot on the podium, and in 1 hour and 40 minutes is almost a sprint race where I must say we have been in the condition to be almost last. Plus, we qualified 25th, we started 34th due to the mix mess up that always GTR2 applies, even if you run and save all the sessions. Who knows why? And yes, in the top 3. So let's continue and see the classification, and maybe we can jump also to this view. Wow, guys, thank you for bringing me luckiness as always. What a race with the GT1 Mercedes CLK of Schneider, Baron Schneider, Mark Webber, the Australian driver that you remember maybe with Red Bull, winning the Grand Prix of Long Beach after 1 hour and 40 minutes, as will be all this season, 100 minutes for every race. We finish second with the first barchetta or World Sports Car Riley&Scott Mark III, then a Porsche 911 with Laurent Aiello, Didier Theys with the second WSC car with the Ferrari 333 SP version, then Bouchou Zonta Mercedes CLK, Qualy Pilgrim Corvette, the first GT2 car arriving in front of many other cars. This is a good I would say this is a good news for the rest of the season. Then we have a GT1 Lotus Elise with Delettra Giroux, if I'm not wrong, was the Lotus Racing Frank Muller. 8th, the first McLaren, Leto Soper, is the BMW Motorsport official car. The other Porsche 911, Alsen, Muller, Wolleck, 10th. And then all the others, as you can see, from a specification point of view, this season I will continue to give points to GT1, GT2 divided by LMP and WSC cars, like if it was prototypes and GT cars. But as you can see, as you know, I've mentioned the fact that the Mercedes and the Porsche 911, basically they are not real GT cars, they are prototypes covered, thanks to a loophole in the set of rules back then. So I would propose to give just points to the top 10 cars, like we did in Around the World in 24 hours, Season 1 and Season 2, and not dividing, let's say, the category, but just, in this case, 20 points to the Mercedes, 15 to the Riley&Scott, 12 to the Porsche, 10 Ferrari, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Will be maybe a tight battle, will be difficult to enter in the classification, but I think it's the best choice. Also because they will be mixed every time with a lot of surprising results, I'm sure. Also because the GT2 cars come from the 2000 American Le Mans series, and so for sure they will be more competitive than what we usually know and understand between GT and prototypes. So I embrace in some way this beautiful result for the couple Qualy Pilgrim, placing a GT2 car into the top 10. So that's it. We can go to see retirements. Ooh, how many? Engine accident, did not finish, engine brakes, blah 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 blah. A lot, I would say. And many GT2 cars, the slowest one, because maybe they have been involved into many crashes due to the difference of speed, at least on this street circuit. Maybe in a normal race, on a proper racetrack, would be a bit different. But quite a lot of retirements, because from P31 and P50 we have basically 20 cars retired. Not bad. The slowest one were anyway the Porsches 911, 5 laps down, the Marcos, the spinning Toyota GT1, the other one retired for sure. Yes, an accident. Yes, let's see the best lap. We had the Toyota GT1, 1 minute 11 during race trim, not bad. The Panots, the WR LMP2, good, another nice surprise I would say. The Panots, the other WR, Nissan Lola, BMW, blah blah blah. We were not the quickest Riley&Scott, we were the slowest Riley&Scott. So if Butch Leitziger and Eric Coma more or less repeated the qualifying performance, 1 second slower, I would say. We were here 1 second slower than our best performance during qualification. That's it. I mean, I knew I was not the quickest. It's a bit a pity to have been the slowest in qualifying and the slowest during race day. But I also want to say, on an endurance race, even if this is a sprint race, I must admit the best thing is to finish winning or on the podium or anyway scoring points. Also because we were the only Riley and Scott scoring points. That's good. Fine, so this is the final classification. You have seen the best lap times. We'll follow the ranking, the first ranking for this season updated. I hope you did enjoy, like I did, this new venture into racing sim games, not because it's changed the race sim as a base, but because Power and Glory, being completely open, allows to load many cars. For example, I've tried to load the Ferraris 333 SP into GTR2, but for copyright reason, because they come from Forza Motorsport or any other game, I don't remember, maybe Grid, this mod was not completely readable by GTR2. Power and Glory seems to read everything, so I want to keep this game as a sort of base for all the sports car environment we are going to see together this year. It's easy. Maybe I will create also a tutorial to possibly understand how to play with this game. If you want to create your own theme, session, category, championship, whatever, there is a lot of material and informations on the race department, but at the beginning can be a bit tough. Anyway, let's say I do not have the presumption to propose you the best racing game or the best racing theme championship, but there are some things that I love, like this one, and I wanted to bring them into our sharing of passion for motorsports in general, and especially racing simulators. So that's it for the moment with this new view of myself as a sort of avatar, and I hope to find you very well also the next time, and maybe again watching what I propose here, and I hope will give you a bit of notions, a bit of news, a bit of history, a bit of enjoyment, a bit of takeaway from a car setup point of view, type of cars, history of drivers, whatever. So thank you very much for watching, stay very well, and as always, stay home, stay safe, and stay racing. See you very soon on iKeysRacing channel. From Marco from Monza, bye bye, ciao, stay very well, see you very soon the next time, bye, ciao, ciao.